Ladies and gentlemen, Nick Saban.
Yeah! Come on! Yeah! 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 Woo! Come on, Coach! Come on, Coach! Yeah!
He's juiced.
Yeah, he's real fired up.
Slide this in under here.
So a little different than coming down the tunnel for a game.
So this is brand new, they said. They said this is brand new, this all the designs and everything like that. Is that accurate sentiment here? They kind of, they just did this, I believe, 2 weeks ago. They debuted this. You won all these, so you should know, I guess.
News to me, but it looks good.
Looks great.
It certainly does look good. I didn't think about the post walk down the hallway motion. This is me on the PTZ right now, Coach Saban. I don't know if you can see it. I got a pretty good little touch here. You know, I'm going to try to center us around a Roll Tide. I've given out 400 Roll Tides. That is the common greeting around here, I assume. And how many do you give out daily?
Common greeting, and it's something that's, you got to get used to, because when I first came here, probably 20 years ago, and everybody says Roll Tide as if they're saying hello.
Yes.
So that's just how you learn to respond.
Yeah, you got to do that.
It just is what it is.
I went into Rama Jamma this morning. So
Oh,
many.
yeah.
Roll Tide, Roll Tide, Roll Tide. 2 eggs, bacon, grits, biscuit. Thank you. Roll Tide, Roll Tide. Coffee. Is it hot? Of course. Give me one of those. And then Josh Chapman's there with me. Obviously, you know Josh Chapman. He's one of the greatest teammates I've ever had. Nose tackle for the Indianapolis Colts. I think he's a 4-time national champion now, 2-time as a player, 2-time as a coach and member of the staff here at Alabama. I believe he's one of your favorite players of all time, if I had to guess. He's one of my favorite teammates of all time. He's 380 pounds right now. He can still move. Don't you worry about it. He can still move. He was eating a lot of grits. He was getting after it. It was the Southern hospitality felt very real here. And also, plastered all over the wall is ball, just photos of football. This entire city revolves around football. Obviously, Bear Bryant had great history, but what you were able to build here is very special. You still live here. Do you take it in? Are you getting a chance now that you're retired as the coach, go shake hands, kiss babies, and understand what you did not only for this university, but economically to this entire city, bro? You've done so much here. I hope you take that in and really enjoy that and celebrate that at some point.
Well, we had a lot of people contribute to it through the years, so, I feel special that we were able to have championship teams and teams that people could be proud of and were excited about, and that impacted the university and the state in a very positive way. But, Miss Terry and I, we're just kind of, your legacy is what you leave behind. Hopefully we leave something behind, but now we're doing something completely different, building a children's learning center. So
What?
we're focused on that. So
Where's that?
we
Is
just
that-
keep
is that
on
here?
keeping on. Yeah, it's being built where the old Tuscaloosa building was, tore it down, building a big children's learning center.
You're a good
So-
man. You Miss Terry are great people, genuinely. I want you to know that. Getting a chance to learn about you as a human and meet you as a person, and Miss Terry and your entire operation, you're as real and as authentic as it gets, brother. And you're a special one that humans have, and especially in the sports world. Let's talk about this game tomorrow. Vandy, pretty noted on this show. What was that? Was that last year we were in Oklahoma, boys? Is
Yeah, I
that what it
believe
was?
so.
Yeah, everywhere is hard to play in the SEC. All right, except for Vandy. Then Vandy beats Alabama, and it goes absolutely crazy. And it wasn't just kind of a flash in the pan for this Vandy team. It feels like with the NIL, with the transfer portal, how awesome Nashville is, and their education, I think, is very good down there at Vandy as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's like they're becoming like a real team, and I think that's an upside of the NIL and transfer portal era. We're seeing it right in front of our eyes here.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question about it. This is a lot better Vanderbilt team this year than what they had last year. Last year, to me, it was the Diego Pavia show. He ran it. They did quarterback runs. He dominated the game. He dominates the game now in a different way, because, to me, he makes every player on his team better, because he's a much better passer. He went from 57% to 70% completion. He's got better skill guys, better runner. I think they're a little better on defense. So this is a real team to me. And this guy is a tremendous playmaker. He's like a point guard out there. So this is going to be a real challenging game. I think the big thing is you talk about what's people's perception. And you know, you have this perception of Vanderbilt being an academic school that's always struggled in the SEC, especially in football.
Absolutely.
That's not the case anymore. But it's hard to get that perception out of your head. I mean, they beat South Carolina at South Carolina. I mean, this is a good football team.
Great football team. They also went into, I think, Virginia Tech in the second half and handled them. Last year, obviously, a lot of upsets. But you talk about the perception of what Vandy is. It's hard to sell fan bases, especially in the SEC. Alabama fan bases, like, hey, this is not Vandy of old. This is a very good Vandy football team. How do you think the people of Alabama feel about a game against Vandy being a game day game with all the, you know, do you think there is a more respect for the Vandy team, or do you think that's going to take a while for people to get to? Because DeBoer is, I assume, wanting you to tell everybody, hey, this is a good Vandy team. This is a very good Vandy football team. Because optically, to your point, would not be great for this Alabama team. But Vandy can definitely come in here and get one if they
All
with the
right,
way
so
they play.
there's two things here, if you want me to be honest.
Yes, I would.
There's perception,
Okay.
which the perception of the Alabama folks after being here for all these years is win every game.
Yeah, they got all these.
All right, that's,
they got
that
all
first
these.
of all, it don't make any difference if it's Vandy, Florida, Georgia, it doesn't matter. We expect to win every game. I like that standard. You know, some people that bothers. But I'd hate to coach at a place that didn't have a standard and didn't have an expectation you're going to win the game. That's one.
Okay.
Two, I do think that the Alabama folks have a much better respect for Vandy because of last year, even though we didn't play very well, turned the ball over. And I think it's going to be really important in this game that we control the tempo of the game. We need to keep the ball on offense, run it a little better, because the one thing Vandy's defense is going to be able to do is they get you in third down now. They have really good pressure package, and they're bringing people from everywhere. So Ty's going to have to handle that. And but if we can run the ball, if Alabama can run the ball and have more balance on offense, because even at Georgia, we didn't run the ball that great. We just converted third downs, 13 for 19, 8 for 8 to start the game. So that was the difference in the game. And whether it was 3rd and 8, 3rd and 11, didn't matter. We converted third downs. I don't think you want to sort of make that your MO as a team. I think you want to have balance because, you know, it's going to be tough to contain Vanderbilt the whole time, so keep the ball away from the guy.
Coach, with the Georgia Bulldogs, if you're Kirby, what's he telling his team? Obviously, they lose a big one to Alabama. What do you tell them so you make sure this thing isn't a multiple-week kind of hiccup and you know everything is still out in front of you?
Well, I think Kirby probably a little bit disappointed in the big plays they've given up on defense. That's not typically how they play and what they do. Obviously, the issue in the game last week was not getting off the field in third down. If you take all the other parts of their defense and say, how do we play in the game? They played really well. I mean, they stopped the run. They affected the quarterback to some degree, even though they didn't get sacks. But they couldn't get off the field on third down. So they got to have a better plan for that, and the players have to do a better job of executing it. I think Gunner, you know, has to settle down even more. There were times in a game where I think he aborted the play when he didn't need to so that they can play with a little bit more consistency. And, you know, the 4th and 1 stop in the game was huge. So, you know, there's 3 or 4 critical plays in the game that are going to make a difference in the game, and that 4th and 1 that they didn't make when they could have tied the game with a field goal was critical in the game. So I don't think Georgia's that far off, and I think this was one of those measuring stick games that, okay, we're not that far off. Alabama's not that bad. We didn't lose to a bad team. All right, what do we got to do to get better? And I think Kirby's really good at that, and I think his team will respond well to a loss. Honestly, I think when you win all the time at home, that it gets to the point where I always thought as a coach that it wasn't always an advantage to play at home because there's lots of distractions.
A lot of them.
And then when you win all the time, the players start thinking, we're playing at home, we're going to win. So they lose respect for what it takes to win, regardless of where you're playing, because they just think, well, we got the crowd, we got all this, we're just going to show up and make it happen. It doesn't work out that way, especially when you're playing pretty good teams. And they won, what, 30-some games in a row at home? So maybe their players were a little complacent about that. 33
games at home. Washington had 22. They both go down in the same weekend. I wonder what history has to say about that. The 2 longest home winning streaks going down in the same exact weekend. I appreciate you pointing out, like, hey, when you win that many games at home in a row, people get comfortable because you've probably done it like 14 different times. You are absurd. You know that. You are absurd. And I heard about those 5 games. You shouldn't let your players give books to people. Okay, that's disgusting. That is absolutely disgusting what he did here. Okay, I want to let you know that. They took 5 games away from it. Do you know this? Did you know this story?
No. What happened?
First year he was here, he and his staff found out that some of his players were either utilizing their scholarship money or something to give books to other people, giving books away, or maybe they were getting like $20 or whatever. They found out about it. $500 in total is what it was. 3 years of probation for the team and 5 losses taken away. That's like his first year here. Did you know that?
Yeah, but there's a story. There's always a story behind the story. You know, when I came here, we were the only team. You know, some of you guys that are older, we had loan of books in college instead of they bought you your books and you could keep them at the end. So the old way of scholarships back when I played, and we were still antiquated that way here at Alabama. So we were going to change from loan of books, where you had to turn your books in at the end of the semester on scholarship, to just buying the books for the players and let them keep them. So we did an audit, and that's how we found out internally that there was, you know, a few guys that were buying books, track guys' books, so that weren't on scholarship. So you got to give them credit for having compassion, but it was against the rules, and you know, we got nailed for it. And if you look at it, though, it's really, and what's happened in this day and age of football today, you're talking about the ultimate mouse manure when you're up to yours in elephant shit. Ultimate.
Well said, Coach.
Yeah, that's kind of the NCAA's thing, though, brother. That's kind of their, or it was.
Uh-oh.
Fly over! Cameraman!
Cameraman! Come on, cameraman!
We're in a tunnel. We can't get it. We heard you, though. If whoever's flying that plane is a watcher of the show, which I've learned is a pretty good majority of them, that sounded cool. We didn't get to hear it, but it sounded very, very cool. Speaking of losing and having bounce back capabilities, this Alabama team has had to show that. FSU, obviously, week 1, we all saw it. Go ahead, Tone.
Yeah, Coach, I have a question. Gus Malzahn is 3-6 against you, and kudos to you because that is actually a really good record against you. And if you count the win earlier against Bama, he's 4-6 against Bama. What is it about Gus's offense that makes it so difficult for like these defenses that have all these athletes and size, and they're always normally good? I think they're going for 600 yards a game so far this year. But what is it about Gus's offense that gives teams problems and could give Miami a problem?
Well, Gus always gave us the most problems when he had a running quarterback, which is obviously what he has now at Florida State, because he is very stubborn and committed to running the football. So when you add the extra element of quarterback runs with all the zone options, zone read, slider options, all that stuff, it adds a whole nother element to the offense. And then they have a really good play action pass, system that goes with that. Not a great drop back team, but when they have a running quarterback, it creates a huge advantage to me for Gus in terms of what he loves to do. That's when they gave us lots of problems. A couple of those games were crazy games, man, crazy games, where they beat us kick 6. One time we were going to get the ball back with a minute and something to go. We had 12 guys on the field. I mean, just crazy stuff. But good coaching on their part.
I watched just 2 nightmares. We had 12 guys on the field. I have no idea how we have 12 guys on the field. Kick 6. Have you ever heard of something so ridiculous? We lost on that one, too. I mean, I like the fact that you still have all the memories of the bad ones. Because a lot of these numbers, brother, up here, are you. This whole shit here. Can we hit this thing one more time? This whole shit here? I don't know if you saw it.
Yeah, but, I remember all those games that we didn't win and the ones that we lost. A lot more than the ones that we won.
But what about this, though? You did this. Look at this. Look at the lights.
Tide.
It's like the Detroit airport. You haven't been in there in a long time, Ferrari dealer.
Oh, that is sweet, right?
Coming across the top. You know what I mean? It's an awesome thing. But all of this is because of you. How do you feel about Kalen DeBoer at this stage? How do you think he has handled this team? A lot of pressure, mounting pressure there whenever obviously the first week does not go the way that everybody was hoping that it would go. Whenever you think about Kalen DeBoer bouncing back, what is your immediate thoughts? And have you talked to him much? I know you're in the same building.
Yeah, I talked to him on occasion. We talked after the Florida State game. But, I think Kalen's done a fantastic job of taking an expectation that everybody had at Florida State and the disappointment of that and getting the team psychologically turned around to get away from playing. I thought they played with a lot of anxiety at Florida State. You know, when the game got 7-7, it seemed like the energy level changed based on, you know, everything everybody talks about around here is winning. Winning, winning, winning. And sometimes that can affect the players' focus on what do I need to do to win, and they're so worried about the outcome they create a bunch of anxiety because of the expectations. You heard me talk about this before. So you got to figure out a different way for the players to approach the competition. You know, like simple things, like play one play at a time.
Yep.
You know, don't focus on the scoreboard. Focus on the next play. Don't worry about the crowd. You know, they're not going to make any plays in the game. You know, things like that that players can focus on to maintain the respect of what it takes to win. And I think Kalen has done a fantastic job of that. And you see the different level of tenacity and the way the players have competed in the last 3 games. Now, the next question is they had a big win. How are they going to respond to the success of having a big win?
Oh, no. Tell them they're good. You should say they're good right now.
They are good, but Vanderbilt's good too.
Rat Boys in the tunnel right now, coming from this. Connor has a question for you about an SEC team that's battling at the quarterback position.
Yeah, Coach, John Mateer was the Heisman front runner. It looked like Oklahoma was going to have a magical season. Still can, but it kind of was stopped short with Mateer getting hurt. What do you think Oklahoma needs to do to stay hot without Mateer at the helm, and how do you think they're going to change their style, or will they change their style because Mateer's not out or not playing?
Well, I don't know a whole lot about their backup quarterback, but I think it would be smart for them to make sure they're doing whatever that player can do. You know, if he's a runner, run him. If he's a good drop back passer, pass him. Because I think they got to try to win the games with the other parts of their team elevating. In other words, how well do we play defense? How can we make things happen on special teams? And then don't lose the game on offense by doing what the quarterback can do. And don't ask him to do things he really can't do. That's what I would say. Now, I think they still will have a chance because Mateer is going to miss, 3 or 4 weeks?
Yeah, depending.
And if they can keep from losing more than 1 game during that time, I think they'll still have a shot.
Venables' defense always going to be good. The thought of your season getting derailed by an injury like that, because, man, we were out there at Oklahoma. It was awesome.
Yeah.
We saw the Venables defense going to do his thing. Arbuckle and Mateer are going to be maybe the story of college football. Oklahoma's all the way back. And then you just get a devastating blow out of nowhere, like, hey, guys down. Next man up is the speech, obviously, that you have to give over there. That's what Venables is trying to do. And at night, when Venables sits down, does he say, what's the problem? Does he talk to the football gods? Does he say, what the hell did I do? Is there any of those moments that you obviously can't let the players see?
Well,
Did you ever have those?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, Tua got hurt. Tua broke his hip. We probably had, you know, maybe one of the best teams that we ever had the year that Tua broke his hip. And, you know, we were ahead 36-15 or something at the time. It was right at the end of the second quarter. And, you know, but Mac Jones was not ready at that time, even though the next year we won the national championship with Mac Jones playing. In 2019, we had one of the best teams that we ever had, and we got derailed because of that injury. So, yeah, I can see you get derailed. I mean, it happens.
You can talk to the football gods saying, what is the problem here?
But I think from a leadership standpoint, you know, you can't do that. You need to say, okay, how do I lead our players, our team, the people in our organization, our coaches, everybody in the organization to being positive about what do we have to do to fix this and give us a plan and an option so that we do have a chance to be successful. So you're creating an hope and an enthusiasm in the organization so that everybody's not sitting around like a fan saying the sky is falling, we lost the quarterback.
Yeah, but just tell me you're a human, though. Like,
yeah, I'm a human because Mac Jones goes to Auburn and throws 2 pick sixes when we got the ball on the 3-yard line and we run back to touchdown, and we ended up getting beat 44-41 or something. I've been there. I get it. All right. But
okay, let's talk about Mac Jones. He just had his best professional game last night. prime time. And you said he wasn't ready that year. The next year he was ready. Puts together one of the greatest years in college football with Sark as OC. Obviously, New England goes how it goes. Then he goes down to Jacksonville. Now he's with Shanahan. Shanahan was potentially going to draft him at number 3 overall. Instead, they end up with Trey Lance because the upside, the athleticism, everything like that. Shanahan getting to experience this with Mac Jones right now. Mac Jones handling it perfectly, saying, hey, this is Brock Purdy's team. I'm just here to be the backup quarterback, do his thing. Did you get a chance to see last night? And whenever you see something like this happen for one of your players, is there a sense of fulfillment or happiness for them? Because for a long time, he's been getting buried about being a bust. This guy sucks. And then he goes to the 49ers, and it's almost like a perfect storm for him to be great. And last night, he was certainly that, as he has been all season for them.
Yeah, he has been all season for them, and it does give me, great joy.
Jeez,
very proud of all of our guys that go on, and this is what they came here to do. This is why they worked hard. They wanted to win at Alabama, but they also wanted to have a career for themselves and play in the NFL. So when they do it and are successful, it makes me feel wonderful and very proud, almost like a father who is proud of the son, all right, which I've had the opportunity to be quite a bit as well. So anyway, I'm so happy for Mac, but I think Mac was one of those guys that was in bad situations in New England relative to coaching and all that type of stuff, and who was the offensive coordinator and how did he get developed when he came in the league. And he hasn't been in great circumstances. I think right now he is in a really good circumstance with Shanahan, their offense, the players he's got around him, because he is a guy that will execute. He's really, really smart, so he's going to do exactly what you tell him to do. And he wants to know exactly what you want him to do. And I'm not sure he always got told exactly what it was expected of him before going to the 49ers.